and welcome to another episode of What Do I Know? I'm your host, Orchestra. Firstly, on today's episode, I want to say a big thanks to everyone that sent congratulatory emails, comments, and questions to us this past weeks. You are greatly appreciated. Thank you. And for the rest of us, I want you to know that you too can email us your comment, questions, or suggestion, or whatever you just feel like just saying like hello or whatever. Please send your emails to what do I know at orchestrashow.com or WDIK at orchestrashow.com. That's OKESTRASHOW.com. Now, let's get to today's episode. To start today's episode, I want to take us back to a social media post. The platform is Facebook. The date was Thursday, December 29, 2022. And I quote, "The return of Netanyahu to power would not end well for most Israelis. Things might seem okay at first, but it's clear to me that he and his allies would take Israel back and would make things difficult and worse." End quote. This was my response to the news that Benjamin Netanyahu is returning as the Prime Minister of Israel after his right wing coalition won a majority of seats in the Knesset, the Israeli parliament. Um, so, on today's episode, I'm not going to be addressing the issue of sites in this case. As some of you who follows me may already know, uh, this is one issue that I'd refuse to take sides on. Neither pro-Palestine nor pro-Israel. I think this issue has gone on for so long that making a firm or taking a firm or unequivocal side in the Israeli-Palestinian generational war is hypocrisy at its highest. This is an issue that I don't think anyone should really take sides, should really attempt to stay firm on one side, because this are gone. This is century. This is a issue that's been going on for many years, right? And the problem here is not just easily resolved, or is it one thing that one can just say I'm on this side, and no matter what this side does, I'm going to remain on that side, right? Because this is big. This is a huge situation. Um, as I predicted in my post, I was unfortunately proven right on Saturday, October 7th, 2023. This was when Hamas and several other Palestinian militant groups launched a major surprise attack on Israel, which resulted in the deaths of about, or if not over, 1,200 civilian. I mean, mostly civilians, right? Some of them were military men and women as well, and also resulted in the hostages of over 250 being taken from Israel to Gaza, right? And like I said, of the 1,200 and the 250 people that we're talking about here, most of them are civilian. They are not military. They are not in serving in the government in capacity that one can assume that maybe it's okay for this to happen to them. It's not okay in any way. Hamas and five other groups invaded southern Israel on this day that we're talking about. The attack came by land, by air, and by sea. So the question now, the first question I asked myself was, how did Israel miss all the signs and the intelligence in advance of October 7th, 2023, uh, of the attack? Well, in my opinion, right, it all began when Bibi Netanyahu decided that his legal problems might no longer be a problem if he could regain the prime minister seat. Additionally, picking the judiciary, he and his coalition believed, or should I, they continue to believe that the court is obstructing their ideological agenda from being enacted. I have personally read numerous reports on Netanyahu's trial for corruption, fraud, breach of trust, and him accepting bribes in series of scandals involving media moguls and wealthy associates. And I'm not talking about maybe report being written to smear him. No, this were valid report, verified report, and with court cases to go with them as well. Benjamin Netanyahu needed to stay out of jail. Needed all his legal problems to go away. So his easiest path is to regain the prime minister's office and use the bully pulpit to his advantage, so that he can keep himself and his associate out of jail and continue to live life. Unfortunately, Benny Gantz proved to be a tougher opponent than Bibi had hoped, forcing Bibi to make deals and concessions that, in most cases, he ordinarily probably wouldn't have made. Right? He got in bed with ultra orthodox allies, um, and doing this, Netanyahu and his uh, ultra nationalist and ultra orthodox allies won the election with 64 seats out of the 120 in the Knesset. The result today was the most far right cabinet since Israel's independence, right? So now you have the ultra nationalists and the ultra orthodox in control, and they have the votes to make calls and to make decisions according to what uh, they see fit, or how as they want the country to go. Yeah. And when the time comes to pay the piper and protect himself, Bibi and his gangs of brothers push reforms to take power away from the judiciary. Basically, what they're trying to do was, bring the judiciary uh, under the legislative oversight. So they, as lawmakers, can then control, what cases are brought or how cases are prosecuted, and uh, allow uh, them themselves to have the rights and control over what the judiciary system is able to carry out or is able to accomplish, basically answering to them, right? So Israeli citizens revolted. you know, they, they, they refused to just let Netanyahu and his gangs win the day. This led to several weeks of unprecedented strikes and protests, including thousands of reservists that just refuse to let this happen. They refuse to let their country fall to the crack, or fall back to the days where the people have no say, have no power, and just end up in an authoritarian, situation. You know, as the people were publicly showing their concern over Bibi's infringement on the separation of powers, uh, Israeli, Israeli were busy looking inward. They were busy, uh, you know, fighting within one another. It was a chaos. It was chaos on the streets. People were being beaten, getting arrested, attacked. The economy was brought to a crawl, and a lot could not get done. Israel was basically busy fighting one another, right? Um, and they took their eyes off the ball. They took their eyes off the ball. Hezbollah on the northern border was the only risk that they were they were monitoring. They basically forgot about the Hamas and everything and every other enemies that they had. Uh, this was even uh, though Hamas at the time was publicly training and running a series of drills in concert with as many as 10 other fractions, or should I say, factions, of militants. And this go as far back as December 2020. They were running these drills, recording the videos and putting the videos online. So it wasn't a secret, that the Palestinian, uh, uh, militants and Hamas, up to 10 different groups, had joined forces, and they were preparing and running scenarios to attack Israel. So, and, and they put the videos online, right? So, report shows that at the time of the attack, it was only about five factions um, that actually took part in the October 7, 2023 attack. So it wasn't the entire 10 or more factions that were training, and many of these information were fact checked, were validated by many press organization that shows that this was a coming together uh, of various uh, factions in Palestine region, and there should have been attention being paid to what's happening. But I guess somebody was too busy doing something else, right? So uh, there were also reports. There were several reports of female surveillance soldiers, right? That they noticed uh, unusually high uh, drone activities at the southern border, and they made a report, and those reports were ignored. And also, including on the day of the attack, there was also reports that there was a delay response from the Israeli military. So it's it was a perfect storm for the Israeli on this day. Um, it's probably going to take several years until the Israeli officially identify what truly went wrong here, or what they could have done to prevent the attack, um, from taking place, right? So it might take many years on how they could have prevented it. But if you ask me, right, the buck starts and stops at Bibi Netanyahu's desk, right? He certainly created the atmosphere for many things to easily go wrong, right? Yes, Israel has, every right to protect itself and every right to retaliate when attacked, just as Hamas believe that it's fighting, on behalf of the Palestine. The death of over 1,200 people, including the 240 plus hostages, must be answered. But then again, isn't that why we are here today? Isn't that how we got to where we are today. You kick me, I kick you back. You slap me, I slap you back. You shoot my brother, his son comes back and shoots another, your brother, right? The tit for tat continue. Yes, Hamas started this recent tit for tat with the October 7 attack. What I failed and refuse to understand or comprehend, right, is the death toll of over 33,800 Palestinians. That's huge. At some point, you can help or ask yourself, really, more than 33,000 people, mostly women and children, over 76,000 wounded. I don't know how many members um, strong is Hamas. I don't know how many members that you know, they they claim, you know, that they have or they actually have, or the other factions that took part in the October 7 attack. I don't know how many members that they boast of, but I doubt that all the members of these groups made up 10% of the dead and wounded. I don't think so. Which means more than 90% of the people killed, injured in the retaliation were civilian, innocent civilians. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Forget about where you stand in this matter. Forget about who did what first. The vast number of women and children that are dead, I am certain that they are not members of any of the groups that Israel is fighting against. I think Israel, in the strictly target Hamas, right? Basically, they didn't care who um, is around. They didn't care about the collateral damage of every attack. They just go to town. They just went apeshit on the occupant of Gaza. Um, they target Hamas, leading to vast unnecessary deaths. When the Israeli retaliation started, civilians kept moving and moving from North Gaza, Gaza City, Deir el Balah, uh, Khan Yunis, and now to Rafah. The only place left for people to move to uh, is Egypt. But we all we all know and hearing the story already, Egypt has closed its border, put security forces on its border and refusing refugee crossing. So they are not allowing anybody to cross. Israel is developing or already developed plans for a mass attack on Rafah, the only place that these people have from Gaza City, from North Gaza, all those places that I mentioned earlier. They are moving from those that are still able to move, right? That still have breath in their lungs. Uh, the only place that they all went to is Rafah, and now Israel is ready to attack Rafah. Um, I'm no general, but I wonder what Israel's plans are here to keep civilians safe, if any. I mean, they haven't shown that they are willing to make exemption here. They haven't shown that they will take every necessary step to keep uh, the innocent safe. In my view, the superfluousness of this response is glaring, and it appeared that Bibi can give a hoot. Bibi and his and his people can care less, and as long as Israel is at war, there is less chance, that Netanyahu legal trial would proceed. You know, um, there is less chance that they would have elections. Essentially allowing Netanyahu to remain in power and never face justice for any of his wrongdoing. So, I mean, think about it. Who wants to try the prime minister when the country is busy at war? Or who is going to call for elections or allow elections to take place when the country is embroiled with war and rockets flying from all over the place, from Iran in recent weeks, right? If Israel and Palestine want to experience peace, both sides must accept and take steps to implement the two-state solution. This will establish an independent state of Palestine by the state of Israel, right? This was a solution that they both agreed to at some point. But as I stated earlier, a peaceful Israel is a major problem for Netanyahu. Is personally come out against the two-state solution. You this week we heard about the retaliation of the Iranian on Israel's attack on the Iranian consulate in Syria, killing uh, you know multiple Iranian commanders, and as a result of that, right, tit for tat. Remember, talked about that earlier. The Iranian fire several rockets and drones Israel. Yeah, this was after they made it public that they're about to do it. Gave enough head start. So to me, that sounds like Iran um, doesn't want this to be a all-out war just yet. They're taking steps to let Israel be aware and prepare for the attack. Unlike how Israel attacked the consulate without warning. As people, um, we can love. We have the capacity to love and chastise simultaneously when necessary. We can support someone and give them the frank truth when necessary. Uh, Israel must not be allowed to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Um, Israel must not cut off nose to spite the face. We must always speak truth to power, no matter the cost. No matter the cost. But what do I know? I'm just a guy with enough life experience to know and tell when excess is even excessive. Thank you for joining us again today on What Do I Know? Email us your comments, questions at What Do I Know at Orchestra Show or WDIK at orchestrashow.com. That's OKESTRASHOW.com. Back soonest. Take care.